April Hutchinson, a Canadian powerlifter and former national champion, has filed an appeal against her 2-year suspension from the sport after she publicly criticized a transgender competitor who broke the women's national record. Hutchinson spoke out against an Andres, a transgender woman who competed in the 84 kilograms category at the Canadian Powerlifting Union (CPU) National Championships in March 2023. Andres lifted a total of 507.5 kilograms, surpassing the previous record of 492.5 kilograms set by Hutchinson in 2021. Hutchinson claimed that Andres had an unfair advantage over biological female athletes due to her male physiology and hormones. She also accused the CPU of violating its own rules by allowing Andres to compete without providing proof of her testosterone levels. "I'm not against trans people. I'm against males competing in female sports," Hutchinson said in an interview with the Independent News. "It's not fair, it's not safe, and it's not respectful to women." Hutchinson's comments sparked a backlash from the CPU, which recommended a 2-year suspension for her for violating its code of conduct and anti-discrimination policy. The CPU said that Hutchinson's remarks were disrespectful, offensive, and potentially harmful to Andres and the transgender community. Hutchinson appealed the suspension, arguing that she was exercising her right to free speech and expressing her legitimate concerns about the integrity of women's sports. She also said that the CPU's policy on transgender athletes was unclear and inconsistent, and that it failed to protect the interests of biological female competitors. Hutchinson's case is not the only one that has raised controversy over the inclusion of transgender athletes in women's sports. In the United States, a group of female athletes protested outside the NCAA convention in San Antonio on Thursday, demanding that the NCAA adopt a policy that would ban transgender athletes from competing in women's college sports. The protest was attended by Riley Gaines, a former University of Kentucky swimmer who competed against Leah Thomas, a transgender swimmer from the University of Pennsylvania, in the NCAA Swimming and Diving Championships in 2022. Thomas won 7 individual titles and broke several records, while Gaines finished second in 4 events. Gaines said that she felt cheated and robbed by Thomas's participation, and that she wanted to keep female sports female. She also said that she had received support from thousands of people who signed a petition calling for the NCAA to change its policy on transgender athletes. The NCAA's current policy states that transgender student athletes can participate in women's sports if they have completed 1 year of testosterone suppression treatment. However, the policy also defers to the rules of the national governing bodies of each sport, which may have different criteria for eligibility. The debate over transgender athletes in women's sports has also attracted political attention, as some conservative lawmakers and activists have proposed or enacted legislation that would ban or restrict transgender athletes from competing in women's sports in several states. Supporters of these bills argue that they are necessary to protect the fairness and safety of women's sports, while opponents say that they are discriminatory and harmful to transgender rights and well-being. The issue of transgender athletes in women's sports is complex and contentious, and it involves scientific, ethical, legal, and social questions that have not been fully resolved. As more transgender athletes seek to participate in women's sports, the need for clear and consistent policies and guidelines that balance the rights and interests of all parties becomes more urgent.